He had an aged website with a decent domain authority and even some 50 reviews or something.
Wow.
So it was like 7-year-old effort.
Yeah. And incidentally, if a potential client, given those metrics that Nolan just mentioned, normally we would say, "Oh, hot damn, that's an opportunity. We can make that sing."
We can make that client happy quickly, right? But he wanted the biggest city. Now, if he was dominant in Van Nuys, he would have gotten multiple daily calls, and I'm going to say somewhere around as much as 5 a day, as little as 2 or 3 a day, if there wasn't some sort of heat wave. If there's a heat wave, he literally could have gotten hundreds of calls in a week. But on a day in, day out basis, he could get really great results out of that. So the website itself was a sham, was poorly done, was completely structured poorly. There was more pages about city junk and city pages than his actual services, and the stinking city that they were in was not in the content, nor were they going for it, and that is a new penalty. Hey there, guys, it's Nolan and Jason here for HVAC Webmasters.
Hey.
Gonna go over today a question that pops up. My Google rankings suddenly dropped. That one makes me laugh for some reason. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at anybody's pain. But it's funny because I think I know why this stuff happens. In fact,
well, there can be multiple reasons, obviously.
Yeah, I think for the most part we know why this happens, when it happens, and you don't see this as much as you used to.
Yeah.
But you do see people just kind of drift away, I guess, more than they get slammed around. Right.
Yeah.
So
people don't usually fall quickly; they slide off, and most of the time, when you thought your Google rank dropped fast, it actually dropped over the course of like 3 or 4 months,
right?
And you just didn't notice because it was slow.
So somebody called up here the other day, and they were doing hordes of work to this horrible template website that they bought from a horribly cheap place that everyone's heard of before, and this horribly cheap template website she had been just slamming.
Oh, I remember you talking about this one before, yeah.
And so there was 4 or 5 competitors above them in the marketplace, but they did clearly more work.
Yeah.
But so I'll let you answer the question: why would maybe their site had gone down even though they were doing all this work on it? I know why, but this relates to his category more than mine.
Website, bad design from possibly both a visual and structural code base standpoint. If she had a bad code base, cheap template like you said, then you might have a crap load of good content on there. I mean, it might even be really good content, but if Google looks at it and they have difficulty understanding it because the code surrounding it doesn't tell them what it is, doesn't help them understand it, you're not going to rank as well.
So if clients around them, this website is such a cheap type website, which 99% of all of you guys have template-based websites anyway that are pretty cheap. This particular website was really pretty bad, and if the market gets more competitive, which it almost always is for everybody in HVAC at this point,
right,
and you're sitting there dealing with one of the primary components as cheaply as you could have, it's going to lack a lot of the elements that Google would have graded it on. And so when you miss those code-based points for that, and I'll also argue that she didn't know how to write the content as well, put it up as well. When it's put up in these sorts of client management systems or content management systems, then they stripped the code base out of it in the first place so that you don't screw up the website.
Right.
So you go in there and you can do the title tag and you can write some content, but you can't do any other sort of code base items because you'd break the site to pieces.
Right. And just to make a point, just because you understand HVAC, you may be an HVAC expert, you may even be a decent writer, but that does not mean you know how to write for Google.
Yeah.
And for SEO. And it also doesn't mean you know how to structure the content. And that doesn't just mean the page you're working on. That means this page and how it relates to the other page in the overall structure, sort of outline of the site.
You know how many times I get people say things like, "Oh, no, I can do it myself. I just don't want to." And the fact of the matter is, no, you can't do it yourself.
You cannot.
You can do about 20% of it, and you should stick to the things that you can do better than the web firm, like your own social postings that are custom.
Right.
Or like getting a review, but we'll integrate the reviews better. And that's the thing. Do you have reviews in a tab? Do they pull from the web? We can integrate reviews. We can hook up all the links to your reviews around the web. We can work on the review sites, of course, like Google My Business, Facebook, and work on those so the elements are done better so that you get higher ranking, but we can't get the review itself. We can even give you a dashboard to enter your client's cell phone to text review links directly to your clients, but we don't get the reviews. You can
we can provide you with tools to help get reviews, but you have to use the tools.
Yeah, and one thing you have to do is hire good web work to get those points done. So if you're, to this point in time, have shirked all web work, or you got screwed several times so you quit looking for it, and you got a basic template site up and it's basically stagnant. So it's up and it doesn't get content changes, it doesn't get content additions, the code base is messed up and doesn't get changed or added to, no design updates, things like that. Those aren't necessarily going to be a penalty.
Right.
They're just going to mean that there's more aggressive, more savvy people on marketing in your market than you, and they've taken advantage of the algorithm for the better, and they're showing up because they deserve to, and the algorithm says, hey, you don't deserve to show up.
Right. You might have had a decent website at one time. It might have been the best website in town when you got it.
Right.
And you might have gotten that #1 ranking. But let me tell you, #1 ranking on Google today does not mean #1 ranking on Google tomorrow.
Right.
Number one ranking on Google today, or right now, doesn't mean #1 ranking on Google an hour from now. The algorithm is constantly updating what it's doing. And so if you're sitting there and you're sitting on a #1 ranking and you're just kind of floating on that, and you got a new competitor comes in and they do an amazing website, they hire a really sharp marketing firm like us and put up the best possible website, at some point Google's going to look at that and say, well, that guy deserves to be higher.
Yeah, and I mean, why would they put up the best possible website and do that? Because it would cost a whole lot of money to pay for every single click, for every single lead,
Right.
or to push everything out through social media. And you can have organic, which is still 76% of search results, and get that at a fraction of the cost. So it does not make sense to not do this. Now, I'll give you some other things. It's not all just stuff we're talking about. You could get a penalty, and the penalty could be light. It doesn't have to be a manual action. It doesn't mean, forget about Penguin. If you guys are slamming links in out of India, shame on you. That's been gone a long, long time. You might have paid somebody. If you knowingly did it, shame on you. But if you paid somebody and you didn't know they were doing it, then you need disavow. You could still get a link penalty, not likely. But if you're paying for links, or you're paying for SEO and it's poor quality, and they're really not doing much to the website. I'll give you one of a guy that called the other day, and he's mad at web companies, and he wants to do, this is a commman deal.
That's why it's marked, just because we hear that a lot.
They get upset because they get screwed around over and over again. And he was on the outskirts of Los Angeles, but he wasn't in Los Angeles. I'll say where he's located, because I'm never going to mention this guy's name or anything. It's a large town, because I think he was in Van Nuys. So he's in Van Nuys has 200,000 people.
Right.
But he wanted LA and all these other towns. But Van Nuys is nice. I'm not from the LA area, but I don't think it was a deplorable part of town or anything like that. There's close to 250,000 people sitting there, and the website was written for Los Angeles.
Right.
He had city pages up in all the cities around him, and it was overall a template that had been embellished. So it was missing a lot of the code-based stuff. A lot of things weren't set up properly. It didn't have integrated reviews, but it looked like an overall aggressive effort.
Right.
But he actually got less than one organic call per day off the website. So he's having to pay for all of his leads or all of his clicks.
Having to buy leads,
to buy
clicks,
everything.
yeah.
So I went in, and as I was talking to the guy, he didn't want to really hear what I was saying.
Yeah.
And he wanted LA, but he wasn't located in LA. So the algorithm
He
had
probably
changed.
didn't want to move.
He didn't want to move. He was located there. The algorithm he had an aged website with a decent domain authority and even some 50 reviews or something.
Wow.
So it was like 7-year-old effort.
Yeah.
They
And
don't-
incidentally, if a potential client, given those metrics that Nolan just mentioned, normally we would say, "Oh, hot damn, that's an opportunity. We can make that sing."
We can make that client
Yeah.
happy quickly, right? But he wanted the biggest city. Now, if he was dominant in Van Nuys, he would have gotten multiple daily calls. And I'm going to say somewhere around as much as 5 a day,
Yeah.
as little as 2 or 3 a day, if there wasn't some sort of heat wave. If there was a heat
Yeah.
wave, he literally could have gotten hundreds of calls in a week. But on a day in, day out basis, he could get really great results out of that. So the website itself was a sham, was poorly done, was completely structured poorly. There was more pages about city junk and city pages than his actual services. And the stinking city that they were in was not in the content, nor were they going for it. And that is a new penalty.
Yeah.
That-
Just incidentally, this guy's site a year ago, 2 years ago, probably would have done reasonably well.
Yeah.
You could have actually made that work
Might
and
have
gotten
worked.
him some LA 2 years ago. But within the last 6 months, there's been some massive algorithmic changes, and that doesn't work anymore.
City pages would work in a very rural market,
Right.
maybe, but HVAC is a popular category, so even in rural markets, there's lots of HVAC. Basically, what that means is Google doesn't want to show your crappy city pages if there's great websites to draw from. They don't want to show your self-serving website that was only meant to get you clicks for the keywords you wanted, but didn't really offer any valuable content or consideration for the client.
Right.
So that website is that exact definition, and I could have had him very happy very quickly, but he pays for every call to come in.
We could have gotten him busy enough in Van Nuys that he could have gotten an office in LA.
Right.
And then started to go.
Which is what
and
I would have
expand.
suggested to him, was
Right.
to get, once Van Nuys got up, then we'd expand an actual legit location, because they've quit doing virtual offices
Yeah.
and started taking them down.
Yeah, virtual offices, PO boxes, all dead
PO
now.
boxes for like
Yeah, for a long time. But virtual offices are actually being considered just as bad as PO boxes
PO
now.
box is
So,
almost a decade.
yeah,
Virtual
that's
offices
done.
now is a PO box.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you can't get a legitimate location if it's worth enough money to you, right?
Right.
So that's an actual penalty. So this is probably why, in some essence, of why you dropped, because your website is no good, doesn't offer any value, is going for the wrong stuff, and some basic things aren't adhered to. Plus, it is basic template and does not have quality markup, doesn't have quality code. It's probably got sparse to no page content about what you're offering, or it's going for the wrong cities, or is self-serving and doesn't have anything really about your services. There's no deep dive structured content that is on there, and is outnumbered by crud that you did to get clicks.
Right.
If it wasn't that, it wouldn't be doing that unless something else severe had happened. And for the sake of saying so, I don't even know that they're penalizing for inbound links anymore. They're just smart enough not to count.
They're just smart. Yeah, they're smart enough to ignore the ones that they don't like.
Yeah, so they're
So they don't
ignoring
count
them
them.
at this point. So the algorithm updates and wants more quality, and enough people around you savvy going for marketing, give them that quality, you drop, they go up because they deserve to, and you deserve to go down. And that happens due to higher competition from other HVAC companies in your market. So I'll answer some questions that pop in people's head without getting into a big sales routine here. We obviously do this work for everybody, and we are very inexpensive comparatively to people that claim to do high quality work.
Right.
So in many cases, we're less than $1,000 per month, depending on the market and how competitive it is. I actually pitched that guy a little bit more than that in his market if he wanted to go for LA, which would have had to been changed. But actually, he wanted to talk about changing to LA, by the way.
If he was willing to move,
I wasn't supportive of it because of this.
He's already established in a
He's
in a
already in
decent-sized
Van
town.
Nuys.
Yeah.
He's in Van Nuys. He's never even gotten any benefit from it. He wants to move from a town that he completely messed up the marketing on, that would actually bring in daily call volume,
Right.
to try to go throw his line in and catch big fish with another 1,000 HVAC companies in LA.
Yeah.
I think that he should have done Van Nuys first and gotten good there, started making darn good money and gotten another truck or two on the road, and then he should have looked into LA.
Yeah, you can think of this like a more traditional approach, frankly. In pre-internet, people did not just say, well, I'm in Van Nuys and I want to get LA business, so I'm just going to move my business.
Right.
You'd buy advertising in LA, for instance, which you could still do, obviously. But you'd stay where you were and you'd build your business, and then you would expand naturally and grow naturally over time. And that's how he should have been thinking about it.
You know, back in the days, this was, I don't know if anybody remembers.
We say back in the day a lot, don't we?
So back in 2008 and 9,
Yeah.
Google mapping didn't start till like 2005, they say, I think.
Something like
I don't
that,
even
yeah.
remember it back then. But a guy calls me maybe around 2009 or 10, and he owned a business that was doing just kicking butt off of maps only. And he was sold on maps only. He didn't want to do an overall comprehensive organic effort.
Oh,
Which,
boy.
by the way, here's another problem that people have. So in this list of things that I've got here that could have caused you to drop, you're only working on one item. You don't have enough going.
Right.
And so the guy had this location. Well, he moves his location and now he's in the same city. So the algorithm back then was very unforgiving. They didn't have any organic effect on
Yeah,
map.
mapping wasn't tied into
It
your
was actually
website
first
effort
come,
and-
first serve.
Yeah.
It was tenured first come, first serve. This
Yeah.
guy was huge. And he called up panicked and angry, hostile and smug and cocky all at the same time. He, by God, wanted his map back. And if I couldn't help him with it right then, he had no interest in me. I said, look, we can build this out properly, legitimately. And then once you get your map back, you keep it. You know, you work on it. He said, well, he moved because he expanded so much that he moved his location and he lost all ranking immediately.
Because
It
back
was
then,
over.
is if you moved,
It was first come,
that
first
was
served.
like starting over.
Yeah, you can actually move it a little bit now, and it's not going to be the end of the world, but it's best not to in some cases.
Yeah.
It made me think about it because, yeah, back in the day, you wouldn't have moved your location. But guys, whether you like it or not, today you might move your location. So, you know, that's life. That's what it is. They were talking about this at the conference we went to.
Yeah.
We need to go to another one pretty soon, by the
Yeah.
way. We
Yeah,
enjoyed
we
it,
need to
had a
set
lot
one
of
up.
dialogue out of it. We've had a lot of content that we've
Yeah, we've milked it on this.
we have. So yeah, you got to make those moves sometimes, and you do think about it before you move your location. Hey, I'll give you one that I don't even have on this list. You could have had your site redesigned by some knuckleheads that didn't know what they were doing, busted the crap out of everything, created 404 errors everywhere, deleted all your internal pages, and you lost everything.
Yeah.
You lost all your internal stuff.
Lost your SSL certificate. We had a
Yeah.
client canceled with us. They got sold by
Yeah.
another company. Canceled the other guys. It was two guys working out of a garage. Didn't know what the hell they were doing. And we set up all our client sites with SSL certificates, HTTPS on the URL, which Google likes to see.
Right.
All our clients have that, and these guys didn't know how to do it. So when they
Non-secure server.
when they put their site up, not only did they not have the secure server that Google likes, the URL changed from HTTPS to HTTP. So all of a sudden, there's links all over the internet. All the backlinks in the internet are broken at that point.
Right.
These guys didn't know how to forward the links. They didn't know how to redo the SSL. Our former client's new company was calling us, panic, trying to get us to do it for them for free, by the way. And we're like,
I remember
you know,
that.
if you want to
I
pay
remember
us, fine, but we're not just doing free work.
Yeah, we actually had the designers call us.
Yeah, they were calling
Yeah.
us saying, "Are you guys going to take care of this?" I'm like, "That's your client now. I'm sorry, we
Didn't
didn't
we
do
get that
anything
client
wrong."
back?
Yeah, we did because their website went
Yeah.
down for almost a solid month.
I apologize for the cynical laugh, but when we work as hard as we do with 20 people, yeah, we never do. By the way, just for the record, we never do anything bad to the client.
No, if people cancel,
if they
we give
cancel,
them-
we help them out.
we help them move along. It's
It's nothing that we don't do anything wrong or any of that.
but that doesn't mean we shoot ourselves in the foot either.
That doesn't mean we don't feel some retribution when they leave and don't take notice of quality work.
Right.
And then lose it, and then realize, oh, wait a minute, it had a street value that was important to me in my business, you know?
Right.
So, guys, if your website dropped in ranking 2, I'm going to say that most likely you don't have enough respect currently for your web presence and your marketing effort. I'm not getting on to you. I don't want you to be mad at me about saying that, but all I'm saying is to get retrospective. and check yourself and say, hey, maybe should I be thinking about some of these things that Nolan and Jason are talking about?
Right.
You know, we'd love to help you and love to be a service. And everybody here will be respectful and work hard. I hate that cocky web geek stuff, by the way. And even though I talk like that a little bit more on the podcast videos, we do not have that dip into this office ever.
Right.
Nobody has attitude with a client, because there's nothing worse than being a business owner and calling a bunch of dumb, cocky web geeks that try to, no, because I owned a business before this, and that's what made me start it.
Right.
Cocky
Right.
web people. I owned a home security business. I've told the story several times, but a guy made me mad, treated me like I was stupid, so I don't want to come off that way, but it is also, after owning a business now for almost a decade, it's nice to have appreciation for our services.
Right.
And to have somebody recognize it. And somebody finds us after beginning to garner a little bit of appreciation by getting messed around by other people. So they get me on the phone or someone else, and they're like, I think Nolan and that crew might be legitimate. I should have a little faith in them. And they treat us nice, we treat them nice, and then we have a great relationship, and they finally get somebody good.
Right.
But if you're dropping in ranking, my hunch is you don't have proper appreciation for the marketing online, because you need to be laser focused on the things that are going on with your web presence, the design, the content, the regular work, the quality, the skilled work that you're getting, not just somebody claiming that they're doing a lot of work for $99 a month that wouldn't have paid anybody to do anything.
Unlimited.
Unlimited, yeah, that was the whole deal. We had a client, I have a potential client that claimed they're getting unlimited updates for $99 a month, and they got this horrible template website and sold this bill of goods. So
Right.
if any of this sounds familiar, if you don't work on things regularly, if you have sparse, no content, you're doing one thing only, you're not working on mapping, you're not getting reviews, or you're only getting mapping and reviews, or you're only doing social media or not doing any of this stuff, then these are the items affecting your drop in rankings. And so if you can't do all of it all the time, you can pay somebody like us that do excellent work on tons of it. You can participate in some of it, and then you can have enjoy top rankings and be one of the top dogs in your market by having this stuff done. So the items on the list were, well, of course, a website change could completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Especially a change for the worse.
That could throw you for a loop. We picked up a client that had 7 locations the other day.
Yeah.
That went from 1,800 to 600. So they
Yeah.
went from 1,800 organic clicks per month to 600 after a redesign, which means
And it was a horrible redesign.
I don't even have to go look. I mean, I'm tired of looking at this point. We can go look and peel it apart and see why they did it and see what your competition level is.
But it's always the same stuff.
It's always the same stuff.
Always the same
I
list.
know without looking that the web designer that redesigned it put up a crap-ass website, broke all internal pages, lost half the good pages they had, if not more, and then
Or at the very least, broke the links to them.
and broke the
Didn't
links to
maintain
them,
the
which
link
they were
structure.
internal pages that had tenure and time,
Yeah.
and then they replaced them with probably worse content and brand new pages.
Right.
And so, and on top of that, the 404 errors or penalties against the website.
Right.
And so I know that happened to that guy. I don't have to go look at it. We're going to fix the 404s for him before we launch it. But I can't go back and grab the pages back because they're already broken off the internet at this point. But Google's still pissed and catalogs the 404 errors, right?
For a long time.
Yeah,
guys.
but they'll show it in their Google account, but they'll break the page off the internet because there's nothing to click on. It's dead.
Right.
So lack of updates in design and content, complacency on the part of the business owner, higher competition, i.e. they're doing all these things we're talking about, redesign of the website and busted up stuff, Google algorithm update, basically Google algorithm updates and demands more high quality work, which you lack, or high quality code base, or includes more schema code or whatever, right?
Yeah, whatever they're looking for.
Or a straight up Google penalty, which doesn't happen as much anymore. Guys.
Yeah, that's not as common
It's
as it used to
actually
be.
merit. It's actually merit of whether you deserve to be there. And some of these things are probably good examples, like the guy on the outskirts of LA that wanted LA, that could have gotten LA. I'm not saying, I think people misinterpret me and always hear or they don't misinterpret, they want to hear the most negative thing possible and think that that's it.
Right, yeah.
But the fact of the matter is the guy in Van Nuys can actually whoop ass in Van Nuys.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
not
move
that
on
he absolutely can't get LA, it's that it's much more difficult to get LA if you're not there.
There's no point in risking what's going to happen with the move of the Google account from Van Nuys to LA,
Right.
when I know the LA address isn't going to be legitimate, and he's actually located in Van Nuys.
Right.
So he's much more, he's much better for him to go ahead and take his rightful place. I'd say he has the ability to take his rightful place with the age of the domain, the reviews, the age of the Google account.
Right.
So you take all that and you screw it up by moving it to a location that's semi-legitimate but not 100% legit, right? And then when he could have just had the ability to take his rightful place, which was to hire us to do extremely high quality web work, coded well, written well, set up well, and then Google go, well, shoot, Bob, we trusted you. Why didn't you say so, Holmes?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say so? Now you got proper code base. Now you got proper content. Thanks for setting up the Google account better. Integrating reviews. Hey, that's a bang up job. Boom, 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 boom. And things go up in ranking.
Phone starts ringing.
Yeah, and then Van Nuys secured. Clients happy.
Right.
And then he can go get the most legitimate location he can find in LA, and then LA begins to build.
Right.
That's how it should go down. And so why would I put on a client in LA where we charge basically almost zero down to get started on a month to month when I know I'm going to slam dunk victory in Van Nuys?
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, you know, it's these things are the things that mess up websites, and clients don't always want to hear it, or potential clients, but once you get set up properly, guys, for the first time in your life online, really, right? The first time in their lives.
Yeah, usually.
That they've ever been set up. In fact, most clients have never even gotten a plethora of organic leads off a website.
Right.
You don't even know what it's like to get an organic lead off your own brand, off your own organic keyword content and your mapping and your reviews. Do you know how much better that lead is than a paid lead or a PPC lead? Even those are the next best ones, but they are clicking in a click space where they were meaning to click multiple parties, and they had no respect for the brand. They just click because someone's up there.
Because it's at the top.
Yeah, or it's someone
they're
else
lazy or in a hurry or standing in 3 feet of water.
It doesn't matter really, but I mean, if somebody clicks on, even if they're on like a lead service like a Yelp or a Home Advisor, they're branded to Yelp or Home Advisor.
Right.
Not to you. But once they find you organically and they're like, oh wow, Bob's HVAC service is so nice, this structure's nice, the content's great, they've got reviews, they shop less on you, they're bought into your brand, you hit them with some customer service, and they convert way better. It's a better call to get. It's the best call to get.
Yeah.
So you get a website done properly for the first time in your life. You take care of any rankings drop. The good news on anybody watching this one is that their rank dropped. They were already up. They dropped because they're becoming inferior because of lack of quality work done.
Right.
But they're already up there. So any of you
Yeah.
guys that call us,
we can get you back up
snap,
there.
snap, snap.
Yeah. We can restore that.
Yeah, we can get that up and then bring in more quality work and signals and points than other people have. And then we will help you solidify the position without cheating or doing anything wrong, just quality skill to work in a myriad of ways. And then you can get up there and stay up there. And we'll help coach you on some other stuff if you need any help. But yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I liked it. You got anything else to add to it?
No, I'm good.
If you find yourself dropped in ranking, you obviously need skilled labor, and at HVAC Webmasters, we'd love to help you. If you got any questions, call. I really like to answer questions about stuff like this, and we can probably find out pretty easily. The example, the one that we gave out of LA, is probably some sort of version of what happened, you know? So, guys, take a look around, as I always say. Keep watching, keep listening. When you're ready, call us. We're not high pressure at all. We'd love to have you as a client. We'll see you next time around.
See ya.